These are the two hottest off-road SUVs in the market today, so we're going to find out which one is best. I'll include a link to the Young Ford's website in the description down below. They're providing us with both of these vehicles. And by the way, this GX Overtrail is one of the least expensive on the used market in the US currently. Reach out to them if you're interested. Let's get into it. Powering the GX is a twin-turbo 3.4-liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed. Fuel economy is 15 around town, 21 on the highway, with power outputs being 349 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. The Bronco has a turbo 2.7-liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed. Fuel economy is 17 around town, 18 on the highway, with power outputs being 330 horsepower and then 415 pound-feet of torque. I'm trying to hit 500,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. The GX we have today is equipped with the Overtrail package, which is Lexus's off-road package on the GX. It provides you with this cool blacked out front end. It's lifted by an inch and it's got skid plate protection underneath. The Bronco has the Badlands with the Sasquatch, which is Ford's crazy off-road package. It has a steel bumper from the factory, skid plates, recovery points, and 35-inch tall tires, which are quite a bit larger than the 32.6-inch tall tires on the GX. Now the Bronco has a lot of fender flare, whereas the GX has a lot of fender. You can tell the GX is more luxe with its side steps, whereas the Bronco has rock rails. But funny enough, both the Bronco and the GX have independent front suspension. Now here's the side profile with the GX. You can see with that 1-inch lift, it actually sits pretty high. But the Bronco with the 35s definitely steals the show when it comes to looks. The Bronco has a traditional swing gate setup, and because it's a convertible, you actually have the cage that is visible from the interior, but it's got quite a bit of cargo space. The Lexus is a traditional crossover hatchback, but it comes with an air compressor, which is really cool, and tons of cargo space. It is quite practical. Now the Bronco has the spare tire mounted on the rear, whereas the Lexus has a giant light bar and a receiver hitch cover that looks like a diaper. Anyways, this Bronco has Bilstein shocks. The Lexus has adaptive shocks and EKDSS, which automatically disconnects the sway bars. Inside of the Bronco, I've got good legroom, little storage net. I've got window controls here in the center, vents in the back, and got these nice vinyl seats here in the rear too. With a boxy design, there is quite a bit of headroom here. GX must be made for little people because I do not have all that much space. It's actually quite a bit more cramped than the Bronco. And you can see we've got vents here in the back. We also have some USB ports. I will say these seats, very luxurious with all the perforated trim. They're quite fancy. Headroom here in the back is really good. Now it's always good to compare payloads. 938 on the Bronco, 1545 on the Lexus. That's a W for Toyota. Now let's start up the Bronco and take a look at a few key features. Although this is a convertible SUV, it does have adaptive cruise control. A full digital gauge cluster. This is not going to show up on camera very well, but we have a stabilizer bar disconnect for extra articulation, diff locks front and rear, and trail turn assist. This also comes with a nice 360 camera system. And the infotainment system is very large. It also has dual zone climate, heated seats, and heated steering wheel. This cool area around the shifter does have a manual function, by the way. You've got drive modes for both on-road and off-road use, and this is a part-time four-wheel drive system, but it has four-wheel auto, so it can function similar to a full-time four-wheel drive system, and it has low as well as off-road cruise control. It also happens to say Bronco across the dash, and you've got 6 auxiliary switches, so you can add plenty of items to it, and it does have insulation to make the top a little bit less noisy. And now let's see if the Lexus can flex this. Now, basically the interior trim is softer to the touch to be more luxurious. Also, still has adaptive cruise control. Full digital gauge cluster, so they're kind of matched on that. The 360 camera system in the Lexus is superior to the Bronco in terms of resolution, and just overall functionality is a little bit easier. And yeah, you got this giant screen, easy enough to use. Climate controls are part of the screen. It does have heated and ventilated seats, so a little bit more luxury. This has modes for both on-road and off-road driving. Multi-terrain select as off-road. It's also got its own off-road cruise control system via crawl control. Cool shifter there for the 10-speed. It does have a manual function. And this has a full-time four-wheel drive system with a center and a rear diff lock. It's a phone charging pad. We do have a cool box center console that's an option. Definitely nice. And again, the trim is just so silky soft. And yes, this does have auxiliary switches like the Bronco, but 2 fewer. No convertible, but it does have a sunroof. Now this GX is in the mid 70s. If you did an Overtrail Plus, that would be in the mid 80s, which would add all the luxury features, but the capability would be the same. Now this Badlands is kind of more of a baseline with the Sasquatch. If we did a loaded up Badlands with the Fox shocks, we would be about 72. This one is 67, by the way, but you got some room. Let's see where you should spend your money first, and then we will drive the Lexus GX550. What a name. What a name. It'd be cool if the 550 had a 5.5 liter V8. Come on, Lexus. What are we doing with these turbo V6s? As I'm in a Bronco that should also have a V8. Ford, where's the 5.0 V8 Bronco? Both these manufacturers are slacking off in the powertrain department. Now this is re-geared, 4.7 axle ratio. So it feels peppy. The 35s, no problem. It can move them. I like the Bronco seats. They're very comfortable. They're also wide open. So like in Toyota products, you kind of sit on the bolsters, whereas this, you actually sit in between the bolsters. It's a more comfortable experience. I think that Toyota needs to realize that Americans, well, some of them skip leg day, but many don't. So gotta leave some thigh space. Now, independent front suspension, like I said, solid rear axle, like I forgot to say. But it handles well, that's all you need to know. She handles well. Man, that torque is wonderful. And the independent suspension definitely helps out with the handling. And also the shock and suspension tuning. These Bilstein position sensitive shocks are quite sharp. Man, this is a torque monster. The suspension's pretty darn smooth too. This is nice. I mean, for a convertible, like, you know, you're gonna get more wind noise on the highway with this. The Lexus, you get it basically all in the front of the windshield. This, you get it kind of up more. So you're gonna get more noise, but you get to take the top off. And we all know, we love it when the top comes off. It's one of the best things in life, right? So, with the Bronco, this is such a cool car. It's got great torque, it's comfortable. I mean, basically, Ford has given us a daily drivable Wrangler. That's what this Bronco is. It's a daily drivable Wrangler, which is a very cool concept. Let's go see how the GX compares. Does it really give us more luxury? Let us live in the lap of luxury. Now, that's supposedly what will happen. With the regular Overtrail, you actually get thinner glass than the Overtrail Plus, if I remember right. So less noise insulation. It's still more insulated than the Bronco though. But you'd hope so for more money than a fully decked out Badlands with everything. Now, when it comes to the power delivery, this has more torque, smaller tires, so it should feel stronger. It doesn't. Axle ratio. So this will have a stronger top end than the Bronco because it has more horsepower and it's a vehicle with smaller tires. But on the low end, the Bronco feels way punchier because of the axle ratio. I should have looked up the axle ratio on this. Let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is like a 330 something. I think it's 331. It might be higher than that, might be lower than that. But I think it's like a 331. Let me know in the comments below what it actually is, because I can't remember, so that everyone else can also know as well. I'll try to pin the comment on that. But it's not weak, like, it's still got some oomph, don't get me wrong. It's just not as strong as the Bronco. Now, the Lexus that does feel as strong as the Bronco that's an off-road is the LX Overtrail with the hybrid version of this engine and the larger turbo version of this engine. Now, that's got like tons of low end, but yeah, this is slightly lacking. The suspension's certainly more comfortable. The seats are, the bolsters are good for a Toyota product, but again, they're a little bit narrower. But the seats are still comfortable. Everything feels, like I said, soft to the touch. This is a nice car. And with the adaptive dampers and the EKDSS, again, it's going to unlock the, it's going to disconnect the sway bars when you are doing some off-roading. But basically this handles really well. That's the point that I'm trying to make. It doesn't handle any better than the Bronco, surprisingly. Like, I feel like I could take a corner just as quick in the Bronco as I could in this. But it still does handle well. So should you go Bronco, should you go GX? It depends on what you're looking for. Both of them are very capable off-road. The Bronco is going to have better angles, more ground clearance, so bigger tires. So that's going to lend to more capability that way. This has a better traction control system. So in my experience, in a rock crawling situation, the Bronco is going to beat this out. In snow and in mud, this is going to beat the Bronco out. So it depends on what kind of conditions you're going to be in. And this also can only fit a 34. Well, yeah, it can fit a 34. The Bronco, having 35s, it's definitely it's a cool thing for it to be able to have that. Let me know which one you guys would pick. I think the Bronco's certainly a better value, but I think there's a case to be made for this GX if you're looking for the extra luxury that this provides. If you're not looking for the luxury, it's not going to make sense. If you're just looking at this purely as I want off-road capability, Bronco. But if you want less off-road capability, you're willing to concede some of that, but get some luxury, a little bit better ride on road, more features, then the GX is going to be the route to go. And this lifted version, you know, for 25 definitely drives more truck-like, which makes this feel more rugged than other GXs.